Hello, everyone. My name is Saugat Pandey, and I'm a PhD student at Washington University in St. Louis under Dr. Alvitta Ottley. Today, I'll be presenting our paper titled, Do You Trust What You See? Towards a Multidimensional Measure of Trust and Visualization. With this, let's dive in. In this work, we explored a fundamental aspect of information visualization that is often overlooked but critically important, trust. Before I jump right into the work, let's explore the profound impact of this vital concept. Trust has been thoroughly studied in other disciplines like automation, psychology, and machine learning. Our research approach involves a multitude of perspectives, drawing from diverse fields to construct a comprehensive view of trust and data visualization. Just as trust takes on various dimensions and different domains, our analysis has captured trust definitions and dimensions from a spectrum of fields. From a psychology and sociology perspective, trust is viewed as a personality trait, where one's expectation of reliability play a vital role, and also as a social construct where familiarity and social dynamics shape the trust landscape. In the realm of artificial intelligence and human-robot interaction, trust extends to the willingness to rely on technology regardless of the ability to monitor it, which involves dimensions like predictability and reliability. In the context of visualization, one common approach to measure trust is to directly ask users to rate their trust using a Likert scale. However, defining and measuring trust in visualization is far from straightforward. Mayer et al. Provided a vital perspective by underlining the significance of two key dimensions, reliability and understanding. This work emphasizes that a user trust in a visualization is closely tied to how reliable and comprehensive they find information it presents. This insight not only deepens our understanding, but also underlines a pressing need, the need to develop effective methods for measuring trust in the field of visualization. Based on our literature review of diverse perspective of trust from multitude of fields, including information visualization, we proposed a framework that comprises of 5 critical dimensions of trust: familiarity, clarity, reliability, credibility, and confidence. After finding the 5 critical dimensions, we performed 2 experiments to examine the relationship between the trust dimensions and the visualization designs, and also to explore the relationship between the perceived trust toward visualization and the individual dimensions. For the first experiment, we recruited a total of 500 participants, out of which 255 identified as male and 240 identified as female. We used a total of 410 visualization from MassVis dataset because these visualizations were collected from a diverse set of sources like news, scientific publication, infographic, and government. These visualizations were also pre-coded with labels indicating features like data ink ratio, visual density, whether the images are black and white, and the number of distinct colors to examine the relationship between the image attributes and the trust dimensions. We will now move on to the experiment design, where this experiment was divided into 2 sections, labeling and visualization literacy. For the first section, we asked each participant to label 30 visualization randomly selected from the corpus of 410 visualization using a 5-point Likert scale for these statements. We then examined the relationship between the participant subjective rating on the 5 trust dimensions and the visualization categories and the visual attributes. After the participants finished labeling, we asked participants to answer the 12 multiple choice question in mini-VLAT to measure their visualization literacy and to check if there's a relationship between subjective ratings on trust dimensions and their visualization literacy. Moving on to the results from the first experiment. For the first section, we perform Kruskal-Wallis test for each dimension to examine differences in subjective ratings according to the visualization categories. Except for the familiarity, there was a significant relationship between the visualization category or the source and the dimensions. Using a post hoc Mann-Whitney test, we noticed that scientific visualization yielded significantly lower ratings than all categories in clarity, credibility, reliability, and confidence. And this trend can be seen in this figure, and more analysis detail is provided in the supplementary material of this paper. We also performed the Kruskal-Wallis and post hoc Mann-Whitney U test for each dimension and the visual attributes like data ink ratio and the number of distinct colors. While we did not find any association between the ratings on each dimension and the visual attributes, we noticed a significant difference in clarity ratings and the number of distinct colors and the data ink ratio. Finally, for the visualization literacy, we observed a low positive correlation between the participants' ratings on clarity and their visualization literacy scores, providing suggestive evidence that higher visualization literacy was correlated with the understanding the message conveyed by the visualization. In experiment 2, our aim was to gain deeper insight into how people perceive trust in the context of visualization design. To accomplish this, we selected visualization based on the dimensional values obtained in experiment 1. For this experiment, we recruited 15 participants, out of which 9 of them identified as male and 6 identified as female, and all of them had bachelor's degree. Now let's dive into the design of experiment 2 and how we approach understanding the relationship between trust and individual dimensions. So we started with selecting visualization based on the participant responses in the first experiment, where we chose visualization with the 3 highest and the 3 lowest mean score for every dimension. In other words, we chose visualization that were on average ranked to be the best and the worst for the given dimension. This resulted in 6 visualization for each dimension, 3 of them with the highest and 3 of them with the lowest scores. We then asked participants to rank visualization on how much they trust the visualization for each dimension without mentioning them about the dimensions, and also asked them to explain their ranking. With this experiment design, let's uncover the results. The results, as shown in this density plots, reveal compelling insights into the relationship between the trust ranking and the dimensions. For dimensions like familiarity and clarity, we observed a strong alignment between the participant rankings in experiment 2 and the dimension labels from the experiment 1. However, in the case of reliability, we did not observe a clear separation in trust rankings. Participants' explanation for their rankings revealed critical factors such as source, credibility, and familiarity with the topic, and this aligns with our proposed dimension of trust. So what have we learned so far? Trust in visualization is a multidimensional concept influenced by factors like familiarity, confidence, reliability, credibility, and clarity. We also explored the impact of source and design features, highlighting the significance of credibility, reliability, and the visual appeal. Where we noticed that the colorful and the high data ink ratio are rated in terms of clarity, reliability, and confidence. We also noticed that visualization from news media are trusted more than those produced by scientific or government agencies. Now that we have summarized our findings, let's explore the next steps and the potential avenues for future research. Future work can involve how individual differences like personality, cognitive abilities, education, and cultural backgrounds impact perceived trust. The definition of familiarity can be expanded to encompass various forms of prior knowledge, such as familiarity with the chart type instead of just the familiarity with the data or topic of the visualization. And with this, I conclude my talk, and thank you for joining me today in exploring the trust in visualization or information visualization.